and I think it holds up with the first one. I can't say if it's better yet because you gotta think the first one is a classic, it's a 14-year-old movie, and this one just came out, and I'd have to watch this a few more times to determine whether this one was better than the original. Alright, y'all, so the time has finally come. I'm reviewing Incredibles 2 today. And I will say my expectations were pretty high because the first Incredibles was the shit. It's something about these Disney Pixar movies that turn me into a big kid. And it feels funny going to the movies because as big as I am, I'm surrounded by a bunch of little people and their parents, and it feels awkward at times, but I don't care. I'm a big kid at heart. Sue me. It is what it is. So my first thought about The Incredibles 2 was I really enjoyed this movie. It lived up to what I wanted it to be, and it does. I mean, it's quite different from the original. Like the thing about sequels where they kind of fall flat is when they try to rehash everything from the first one, as far as recycling the jokes and recycling certain plots and scenarios. And this one, to me, didn't do that. This one was a totally different adventure. A fear that I had coming into this was that, okay, being that sequels that come too far after the original, a lot of times they don't work. Historically, they don't work. And in this case, it's like it didn't miss a beat. It was still up to par. And I feel like I think even though it's a large gap between the two movies, I feel like this one fit right in, and I thought it worked perfectly. And just to find out, Brad Bird did direct and write this movie, which I saw in the end credits. So I was like, all right, big ups because he did the first one as well. Now, in this one, this is non-spoiler, so I'm just going to give you the brief synopsis. So in this one, superheroes are still illegal because the world is stupid. They think superheroes are a menace to society, so therefore they have to take their superhero card. We're better off without them, even if we're in danger, which I think is the stupidest thing. But this character comes along. I forgot the name of the character, but he kind of reminds me of Joel Osteen. He comes in and he's fascinated by superheroes. His father was a big fan of superheroes, so he wanted to follow in his father's footsteps and bring glory to having superheroes in the world again. So he proposes a plan where we can put superheroes in a positive light and they can be accepted, therefore become legal. And of course, this is a movie, so not everything goes to plan and some stuff gets thrown in there. So as with the first Incredibles, where it was about Mr. Incredible and his redemption and trying to, find himself again and get back to the hero that he used to be, this one is more about Elastigirl. This is Elastigirl's movie. Like, this is like, oh, this could have been like her solo project. It almost, like, you could almost took out the Incredibles and just call this Elastigirl for the most part, because the family kind of takes a backseat, even though they still get a lot of screen time, but they don't do a lot of Incredibles type stuff until a lot later on. But this is mostly Elastigirl's story. While Elastigirl is out, having her own adventure, he's at home with the kids, getting exhausted and just like daddy duties. And I can relate, man. Them daddy duties ain't no joke. As far as the villain goes, at first I was like, okay, well, who's the villain of this movie? And then it was kind of going a predictable way where, like, okay, I see where this is going. I see what the villain's gonna be, and it didn't quite work out that way. And at first I was like, okay, this is almost on some Baron Zemo type shit in Age of Ultron. But eventually I started to warm up to the idea, and I'm like, okay, I get where this is going. I understand the motivation, so I'm on board with this. I'll say, as far as the action goes, I think the action is really beefed up in this movie compared to the first one. It is definitely more action-packed. I think there's a lot better action sequences than with the first one. So that's why I said I can't really determine whether this one was better than the first one or not. I have to watch it a few more times. But as far as action goes, yeah, this has the first one beat, definitely. The standouts, of course, like I said, is Elastigirl and Jack Jack. Jack Jack definitely gets a lot of screen time. We get more into his powers and what he can do, what he's capable of. And from the way this is looking, if they do any further movies, Jack Jack should be the most powerful of all the family, because this kid has multiple powers. Like, Dash is fast, Violet's invisible and she has force fields, Elastigirl's elastic, and Mr. Incredible is like just super strong. But Jack Jack has like 5 or 6, shit, maybe even more than that. Like, he has like a lot of abilities, so yeah, he could be the most powerful Incredible yet. I also have to mention, The amount of detail and emphasis on Elastigirl's ass. This is a kid-friendly film, right? And I felt guilty a lot of times, but I'm like, they made her very voluptuous. Tiny waist, big ass. And I'm like, And not only did I notice this, but the camera kept reminding me of how big it was because the camera was always focused on it. Now look, you're gonna say, look here, man, you must have a miserable life if you're looking at a cartoon's body. Look here, man, when Roger Rabbit came out and Jessica Rabbit came on the scene, grown men were like, damn, that cartoon fine as hell. I ain't gonna lie, there was sometimes I looked at Elastigirl, I'm like, damn, I said, Elastigirl fine to the motherfucker for a cartoon, man. But they kept putting the camera on her booty. Tell me you didn't notice it. Sit there and tell that bald-faced lie that you didn't notice Elastigirl's booty. Tell me you didn't. That's a bald-faced lie if I ever saw one. But I got it back together though because it is a cartoon, and therefore, no, I'm not gonna have any fantasies about Elastigirl. But I just thought it was funny how they really made her voluptuous compared to the other women in that movie. She was like, they kind of Jessica Rabbit her, you know what I mean? Yeah, and also big ups to Sam Jackson's Frozone. He also did his thing as well. He provided a lot of comic relief, and he did have some kick-ass moments. Overall, I thought this was a good watch. I definitely highly recommend watching it. Take your kids to go see it. I would have took my little guy to go see this, but he's only 2 years old, and he has the attention span right now of a Cocker Spaniel. So I don't think we would have been able to sit down and watch this whole thing. I learned my lesson from 10 years ago because I took my daughter to see the first Transformers. Actually 12 years ago, I took her to see the first Transformers, and when she saw Megatron speak for the first time, she got scared, and we had to leave the theater. True story. She was 2 years old. I was very upset, but she was 2, so I couldn't like Homer Simpson her. But yeah, I learned my lesson, so I decided not to bring my little guy to go see this. But yeah, if you have kids like, 4 to 10 or whatever, I think they would really enjoy it. It has a lot for the kids, but then it's serious enough for the adults as well. It's good entertainment for the whole family. So wrapping this up, I'm gonna give Incredibles 2 a solid A. Definitely a good summer film, one of the best of the summer. I love this movie, man. Like, as far as gripes go, as of right now, because I just literally left the theater about maybe 30 minutes ago, I can't think of any gripes as of right now. So that's my review for Incredibles 2, y'all. What did y'all think about it? Comment below, comment freely. Thank you for watching. As always, this is Rashad G signing out. See you in the next video.